Hey, what's up my fellow collectors? All 75,000 of the Freddy Funkos that will be in the 2022 Box of Fun, well, the Box of Fun that was available online, all 75,000 of those have been found. The only discrepancy being that some of the Han Solo Freddys have stickers with 3,000 and some of them have stickers with 4,000. Now I think it was just a mistake to put 3,000 on some of them, and it really is 4,000 of them, but what I'm really hoping is that it's actually 3,000 Han Solos and 1,000 of another rare one, or maybe several rare ones with like 100 count. Wishful thinking, of course, because I do think it's 4,000 of those and there was a mistake made. But anyway, I wanted to do a tier list with all of them because I really think that they're pretty good this year. Way better than last year, that's for sure. Now I'm going to take into consideration a lot of things. Of course, piece count and value matter. The design matters, the actual character, right? How iconic, how sought after. I'm going to take all of those things into consideration, right? So not just the one that looks the coolest or the one that's going to be the most valuable or the most rare. I'm considering all those things to determine the overall desirability, with S tier being the top and Please No being the ones I absolutely do not want to get in my Box of Fun when it gets here. All right, let's start out with the Squid Game ones. The Masked Worker, the Masked Manager, and the Masked Soldier. Now, I really don't want to get any of these. And it is because, first of all, they're all very similar, right? They're all the same, except for one has a circle, one has a square, one has a triangle. And I like Squid Game. I really had fun watching it. I'm looking forward to the second season. But I don't need a Freddy Funko of the red suit guys. I would have much rather preferred Freddy Funko as one of the players in the green tracksuits. How cool would it have been if they would have put him in a green tracksuit and then put like a snake tattoo on the face? That would have been way better to me. Or maybe if there was only one red suit guy and not 4,000 of each, which essentially makes it the most common design and the least interesting to me. Now Prince Adam is a little nicer. I wouldn't mind getting it, but I do think they needed to make the hair blonde. Back in the day, the Freddy Funkos, they usually used to match the hair to the character's color, and sometimes they just don't. I wonder why. But I think the Prince Adam one would have been better if they would have made the hair blonde. He's also a 4,000 piece, so not super rare, but I do like the look of it, so I'm going to put it in the B tier. The Mandalorian Freddy Funko is pretty cool. He's 4,000 piece, but it's a cool character. He's going to be desirable, so I'm going to put him in the A tier. Now this is where a lot of people might disagree with me because Carnage is very popular and I like Carnage as well, but I find this particular Funko Pop design ugly and just not executed as well as I think it could have been. So I'm putting the 4,000 piece Carnage in the C tier. I wouldn't mind getting it because I think it will have some resale value, but I just think it's the ugliest one. And I'll put the metallic one, of course, because it's more rare, so the rarity is a big deal. I'll put it in the B tier because it's 2,000 pieces. That's pretty rare nowadays for a Funko Pop. I just don't like the look of it and it would be one that I just sell. Now the Tron one I think looks really cool. Of course not as popular as a character, but I think it's one that does translate over into being a Freddy Funko. And I just really like that bright blue color. So to me, the regular Tron is A tier. I would really like to get that one. And the glow-in-the-dark one is S tier. Even though the face doesn't glow, just the circuitry in his armor, and I believe the crown glows as well. I think they should have made at least the hair glow. And it would look better, but it's a small thing because usually, I'm not looking at my pops charged up to glow in the dark all the time. But glow pops are cool. The Tron idea, I think, is cool. And it's only 1,000 pieces. Definitely an S tier Freddy Funko. The next one is Batman, and I think he's cool as well, but I think what they should have done is around the eyes, they should have put some of the black makeup that Pattinson has in the movie, would have really put this Freddy Funko right up in that S tier for me. But since it's missing that, it just kind of looks like a head swapped Freddy. Yeah, of course the crown, I believe it's black on this one, isn't the silver and the gold, which is the most common, but still I think they could have done a little bit more. So I'm going to put it right in the B tier. The Han Solo one. 4,000, 3,000, who knows? But I do think it's one of the more boring ones. It's not even the best Han Solo body they could have used. I really don't want to get this one, so I'm putting it right at the bottom. The Danny Phantom is not the most common one at 3,000 pieces. The most common ones are 4,000, but there's only 3,000 Danny Phantom ones. But what I like about this one is that, of course, it's a unique looking pop to begin with, but they also took care to paint the eyes, the hair color correctly, instead of just head swapping with the same old reddish brown hair and freckles and gold or silver crown. This to me is the best type of Freddy Funko, so I think he's an S tier one. The Snake Eyes is one of the more unique ones this time because they actually had to mold the visor with the Freddy Funko head. It doesn't appear to be glued on. I do think they had to make a new mold for that. But of course, I haven't inspected it close or anything. But it doesn't matter. It's still different in that regard. And I really like that. For me, personally, I really want this one. But I do recognize that G.I. Joe isn't that popular. And I don't see the Snake Eyes one being too expensive in the aftermarket. Just because of G.I. Joe's lack of popularity. And also it's a 4,000 piece one of the more common ones. But it is unique that it has an actual different head sculpt. So I'm going to put it in the A tier. I have very similar thoughts about Destro, except for what makes him different than Snake Eyes is that Destro within the G.I. Joe fandom isn't as popular as Snake Eyes. But he does have a cool, unique look to him. The head is actually painted silver. Would have been better if it was chrome. But Freddy Funkos, it's rare that they will make it chrome or anything like that, or even do a new head sculpt like the Snake Eyes. It's mostly just repainting the head. And this one works. It's just not as exciting or rare or popular. I wouldn't mind getting it, but to me, he's B tier. The Russell one is a perfect example of one that's just head swapped, right? Just looks like a very plain old Freddy Funko head. But it is one of the cuter ones. If I got this one, I would definitely sell it. And it's hard to tell if this is going to be a valuable one or not. Could be a sleeper, but compared to all these other ones, I do feel like this is going to be one of the least popular. And it's a 4,000 count one, so it's not even one of the rare ones to bump it up. So I feel he is C tier. Now the Freddy Fresh one is kind of interesting. I really like the look of it. Seems to be inspired by Run DMC, but maybe they didn't have the rights to use Run DMC. I don't know exactly how the rights work for the Freddy Funkos, or any of it really, right? It's all just me speculating. But I imagine some of these other properties, it might be written in the contract to begin with, that they can do Freddy Funkos, and maybe that just didn't happen with Run DMC. That, or they didn't want to just single out one of the members, so they just called it Fresh, which is kind of cool, but it's the only unlicensed one. And unlicensed Freddys are not even in the same league, value-wise, in the post markets, compared to ones that are from actual characters. But he is really cool looking. It kind of reminds me of the Surfer Freddy, one of the better Freddys in my opinion, but since it's not licensed, it's not that valuable. But he's cool, he's fresh. And I like that he has glasses that also makes him different. Kind of a cool out-of-the-box Freddy, like to display actually. And I wouldn't mind getting him really, so I'm going to put him in the B tier. The Spider-Man Freddy, arguably the most popular character in the Box of Fun this year. And even though he's 4,000 pieces, I believe he is going to be extremely valuable. Peter Parker, the character, really does look good as a Freddy Funko. And his head, yeah, it's a little boring. It's just the normal Freddy Funko head, but that's what Peter Parker looks like. So I don't mind that as much on this one. It's all done well. It's just not as visually interesting to me as the Tron and Danny Phantom one, so I'm going to put him in the A tier, which is still pretty awesome. Aang is also one of the relatively more common ones at 4,000, but it's a highly desirable character. It's a nice and different pose for him, and I really like that they drew the arrow on the head. If they would have left that out, he would have been close to the bottom, but since they put that in and they left the Freddy Funko hair in there, it looks good. So I'm going to put him in the A tier. Darth Maul as Freddy Funko is one of the more eye-catching ones. They went all out and painted the head. And he is common, yes. I feel funny saying common, because common for this box, because 4,000 pieces is still pretty rare when it comes to Funko. Don't want to be a broken record on that, it's just, I want you to understand that when I say common for these, I don't mean common. But anyway, despite him being 4,000 pieces, I think he's going to be highly valuable in the secondhand market. He also looks amazing for collectability. very popular character as well. The only thing I would do different on this one is I wish they would have painted the crown either red or black, but preferably it would have been nice if they would have painted it like an off-white color, like bone color, with a little bit of a darker wash on it to make it look like Darth Maul's horns. I think that would have been perfect. But still, despite that, despite it being 4,000 pieces, I still think this is one of the more desirable ones, so it's going to go right up in S tier for me. And honestly, I think so is Spider-Man. I know I said A tier, but I think Spider-Man should be S tier as well. And lastly, Thor. And he looks pretty cool. Because of the helmet, he has a unique sculpt. And the 4,000 piece one, I think should be A tier. And the 1,000 piece one is definitely S tier. It's the rarest one along with the glow-in-the-dark Tron. So of course the value is going to be high. And a metallic variant for Thor is kind of perfect. And it's just a popular character. Alright guys, these are my rankings. Obviously, the dream box to get for me would be Darth Maul, the glow-in-the-dark Tron, and the metallic Thor, right? But that's obviously not what you're going to get. But these 5 on top, I think are going to be the ones that most people want, the ones that are going to be the most valuable, and also collectible. But honestly, I think 90% of these are great. The only ones that I really just don't like and don't want are the Squid Game ones and the Han Solo ones. And maybe even the Russell one, even though I'll have no problem selling that one if I do get it. That's why I didn't put him all the way on the bottom. Let me know in the comments below what you think should be at the very top and the very bottom, and what you would personally like to get in this box. Thanks for watching and take it easy.